All right. Hey, everyone, it's 7:02. So as usual, we're going to get started. We're going to keep it speedy and efficient. And we have Spanish interpretation in the other room. Tenemos interpretación en español con Maestra Carter. Si está allí con interpretación, por favor, enviar un mensaje a Miss Carter. Si ella puede saber si está ahí. Bien, Miss Carter? Bien? Okay, great. Welcome, everyone. And as usual, our meeting norms, we're going to be speedy. Any questions, you can just throw them in the chat. And we don't have our VP, Bridget, here tonight. So we will just hope that someone flags me down if there's a timely question. Community spirit and open-mindedness, and remember to mute. And one thing we are asking for tonight, we don't have our fabulous secretary, Ms. Sarah Meskin, tonight. So if anyone is willing to take some notes, maybe just put that in the chat that you're volunteering, and otherwise she will watch a recording of this later and take notes for us. So our usual style of agenda: quick welcome, principal's message, which will be delivered by fake version of Max, me reading it out to you, treasurer updates, committee updates, and then a big portion on events tonight, because we have a lot of great events coming up literally in the next week, project and volunteer requests, and then the usual homework. And I think Monica Wallace is taking notes. Thank you so much, Monica. And maybe, Monica, since you are keeping track of things more closely, just unmute and flag me if you see any messages pop up that anyone needs to stop me for a question. Would be awesome. Okay, so in the voice of Principal Max, here are your updates about the school and what's happening. We have his slide deck and a Padlet from the DW Community Site Summit. Feel free to add to it. I think that it's just been an important time of year for the community to weigh in on the vision for next year and the future. So make sure you're involved with that. Spring break is already coming up fast on March 27th through 31st. No school that week. And in terms of planning for next year and the future, the Family, Culture, and Climate Survey is also an important way to participate in that. So that is due March 15th, and the link to it is here. And as usual, these slides will be on our website. So you'll be able to see at the end of the meeting tonight, the last slide has the info on where our website is, and you can find these slides so you can get to all those links. And another important announcement, state testing is beginning in April. I think it's towards the end of April. So once we come back from spring break, the kids are going to be preparing for that. And it looks like third will be in early May, and fourth and fifth will be towards the middle of April, getting started with that. So if you have a child in grades 3 and up, stay tuned for more information on that. I know the school and the PTA will be providing snacks for kids and some practice tests and all of that, but it's an important way for our school to track progress overall. It's not so much about your individual child's progress, but how the school is doing. So just make sure they get some good sleep and get a vote of confidence from you before they tackle that process. Okay, I'm kicking it over to Tim.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So we had our school summit a couple of weeks ago. We're doing kind of budget prep stuff for the next fiscal year. So I tried to sort of switch it up a little bit, provide a visual for everyone. So on the left here, we have what I call what's in the bank. And there's kind of two buckets of money that add up to that number. One is the stuff we've raised that's dedicated to next fiscal year. And the second bucket is what we have yet to spend in this fiscal year's budget. I will say of this $26,000, we will spend some, like I can guarantee we will spend some, so it will not remain at $26,000. I doubt that we will spend it all, however. So there'll be some there that carries over. So we're still working through, I mean, there's lots of ways to divvy this up, right? There's lots of blocks that can fit into that green Tower in terms of the budget process. But just as a point of comparison, on the right side in the blue is what last year's budget looked like. So the PTA funded 3 positions, teacher positions, and kind of the other big chunks. We run a supplies reimbursement program for teachers. And then there's like kind of a grab bag of other things. I listed sort of the bigger items. So Mosaic Camp, the PTA gave a donation to the Mosaic Camp trip for the 5th graders. We have staff appreciation and the yearbook. Those are kind of some of the bigger ticket items. But like I said, this isn't necessarily meant to be like a comparison, because there's lots of things that we could do with what we have in the bank, but just to give folks a sense of what we did, what we passed last year in the budget.
Thank you so much, Tim. And like Tim said, it's really hard to do an apples to apples comparison when it comes to money for the school, because other things change too. We get grants for things, or the district cuts something that they used to cover and now we have to cover. So every year is really different. But what's important is that if you're able to make a gift to the school so that we can hopefully maintain these positions for next year, that would be incredible. And that leads into basically the continuation of our Give a Hoot campaign, which we kicked off really strongly late last year. And the goal of that is to be the major giving opportunity of the school year. But we always do that again in the spring, once we know our budget and our shortfall, to sort of say, hey, if you've got a little bit more now that you can give so we can cover some of those things that we might be in danger of losing, do it. But it's part of my philosophy for our community to not make people feel obligated or bullied or to give more than they can give. There are schools that do really aggressive pushing for fundraising, and we don't want to take that approach. It is just a give what you can give. My belief is that the schools should be adequately funded through our tax dollars. Obviously, we know that that's probably never going to happen to the level that it needs to, but anything else that we can fund through our community is bonus. And some of these positions make a really big difference in the education of a lot of kids in our community. So let's hope that we can close the gap at least a little bit and maintain some of our really wonderful resources that we're able to have. Committee updates. This is just the general announcement, as always, that if you're able to sign up for a Friday, that you can bring snacks for the teachers. They really appreciate that on Friday mornings, to have something to look forward to at the end of their week. The sign up sheet is linked here. And Michal, I don't know if you want to jump in with a yearbook reminder or threat or cheer or encouragement.
Yeah, if I can just remind everyone to buy your yearbooks now. We've really tried to front load this as much as we can. There's a link here. I've also emailed all the classrooms as well, and another request to upload photos. And if you can kind of nudge your friends a little bit, like, hey, did you buy your yearbook? Can you upload photos? Because honestly, it just makes it much more fun for the kids at the end of the year. So thank you.
Yeah, and that's a helpful reminder because we have a bunch of events coming up in the next week. So if you attend Springfest or Giving Day or the Jumpathon, have your phone camera out, take some photos, and just send those to the yearbook team, because those will be fun to look at the end of the year. And as always, merch is on sale. You can fill out that online order form if there's something you're looking for. We won't, again, be doing another big order of merch until probably the next school year. So see what Stephanie has left and hope that you get what you want. And now into the meat of our meeting events. We are finally through the winter, kind of. We still have probably a few days more of rain in the weeks ahead, but we are truly pretending it's spring. We are believing in spring, and the next week is going to kick off our spring events. So 3 things coming your way. Springfest happening this Sunday, the Jumpathon happening Wednesday and Giving Day happening on that same day. Circus night is just sort of a mark your calendar thing. We're not getting into the details of that. But Jessica, are you here? Do you want to jump in and give a little speech here about Springfest or share anything?
Sure. So this is going to be on Sunday at the Daniel Webster Yard. It's organized by Prefund, which is the nonprofit that originally kind of banded together to save DW from closing. So it's really for the greater Potrero Hill community and our school, and Emma's here too. And we have some learning activities. We'll be gathering together to sort of spruce up our yard after all these storms. And we have arts and crafts, a story time with a local, a DW parent who's an author. Let's see, music time. It'll be a lot of fun. So just pop on over on Sunday and we hope to see you.
Thank you. And it's a really great way to launch off our big week of events. So come join up, even if it's just for part of it, and have a good time. And hopefully we catch some sunshine while we're at it. Much needed. The Jumpathon, this is our first ever DW Jumpathon, and you've probably gotten an email about it by now, maybe seen a pledge form come home on actual paper. But basically, the main idea of this is to get kids involved with the opportunity to support the school in a fun and non-pressured way. So the idea is that maybe they have some relatives, or maybe you have some coworkers or neighbors, people who like your kid and like our neighborhood school and want to find a way to support it in a fun way. And it's always a little weird to just straight up ask people you don't know that well or distant relatives just to write a big check to the school, but sponsoring your kid for their number of jumps is kind of fun. So if you're willing to give your kid the opportunity to make a little speech to their friends and family, send a little video, take a photo, write an email, whatever it is, to just say, hey, I'm going to do some jumps, pledge me per jump, or make a flat donation. It will hopefully be a fun and inclusive way, because even if kids get no pledges and don't take that approach, like, it should still just be a fun day for them to challenge themselves to see how many jumps they can do on the yard. So that is Wednesday, March 22nd, so just over a week from now. And we have lengthened the morning recess those days to half an hour so that DJ Mr. Thomas and I, both dressed in whatever weird, wild costumes we can dig out, are going to be out there with our boombox and our microphones, screaming at children to jump as many times as they can, and making it fun and helping them to count their jumps. And we have like 150 jump ropes that we're just going to be tossing out there and making it a party. So if you happen to be free, come and join and have a good time with us. It's meant to be a fun community building activity, and any money that comes in from it is just bonus and awesome. So you have all of the information you need, either from my email, from our website, from the paper, but basically you just manage collecting the pledges at the end, however works best from you. There's a QR code, there's a PayPal link. So it's pretty much just anyone who pledges your kid, you go back to them and say, here's how many jumps they did, and then they can pay. And that all is just bonus fundraising for our school. So this is our first ever, mostly just an experiment to see how much fun we can have and how much money we can raise along the way. So be part of it, our first annual ever Jumpathon. And again, you'll have the links to all this at the end of the meeting and recording of the Zoom, any questions you have, but make sure to watch this absurd video that's linked here that Mr. Thomas and I recorded that explains the process in hopefully a semi-amusing way. There is a Big Lebowski reference in there for any of you who are fellow fans. Good luck. Find it. Oh gosh, I'm not playing it now. Not my intent. Okay. The other big event that same day is—
I'm on the call, Rebecca. I could.
Oh, you
I could
are.
start.
You're alive.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, our VP Bridget is here, alive and well. Great, go for it.
I don't know about well, so hence no showing my face.
Alive, half alive. Go on.
We have a lot going on, so like I'll share a little bit about Giving Day, but definitely we only have 22 people on the call, so you guys are all our ambassadors. We're going to assume your talking to everyone at drop off, talking about the Jumpathon, the March 19th event, and then also we have the Giving Day event. That's on March 22nd. It was so much fun and super easy last year. And I know we have the Jumpathon, you know, that day. So it all kind of comes together as like a week of giving and a week of community for Daniel Webster. This is just an easy way to remind everyone to make a donation if you haven't already this year. Even if it's $1 or $1,000, everything works. But what we're looking for right now on this call, if any of you know a company, or I mean, there's so much wealth in our community. There's so many companies that I know could do this matching gift. And even if it's 5,000, 10,000, and it would be for every $1 that we receive, that company would match that $1 up until whatever they can share. And we would be happy to, you know, bring their mascot out that day, or we could, you know, publicize it in our e-blast to the community. We'd really appreciate that support, but not essential. It's just a nice to have to incentivize people to give on March 22nd, because it's not an end of the year gift. It's just a spring gift. So maybe people have like tax return savings. Not always, but I don't know, just trying to sell it. So yeah, it's March 22nd. And we're looking for a matching gift. We're also looking for people that day. If you could make a donation on that day, whether it's you can come and bring a check. We're going to have the owl. This is a picture from last year. The owl will be there. We'll have kids and adults. I think, Tim, or we have another responsible adult collecting checks that day made out to, what do we make them out to, Rebecca? DWPTA?
I think it's just Daniel Webster Elementary PTA.
Okay, cool. Yes, so you can just come make your gift there. We had the email that Rebecca sent out on Monday, so I'm sure everyone's using that as a reference for all these exciting events. Do you think we go to the next slide?
Yes.
Another easy thing is we're looking for volunteers that day. So did we confirm we have the owl? We have an owl volunteer.
We have to believe
Kevin?
Kevin. I don't know if
Kevin's
Kevin's-
in.
Is he on the meeting?
Hopefully.
Kevin, we need you. We'll see.
You
We'll
in?
see.
And
Are you
then-
talking about Kevin Morton?
Yes, we are.
Okay, this is his wife. I will check with him
Okay.
and let you.
Awesome. We like to just put people on the spot. Just kidding. And then if anyone else could just make a sign, you know, there's just 22 people on the call, but there's so many people at the school. So if you just make a sign with your kid, it's a really good way to involve them and talk about philanthropy and giving and what the PTA does for the school and what we fund, so they understand how we're spending our time right now. We made these signs last year. It was really fun. And then the kids just held them and the cars went by, and it was really just a good spirited, low-key event. No pressure for anyone. But then it did kind of incentivize people to give that week. So they're like, oh yeah, I should donate. And so it's just a nice reminder. But if you could volunteer, just let me know or let Rebecca know, or just show up. You don't even have to let us know.
Or even just drive by blasting music and throwing cash out the window. Tim will catch it. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
$100 bills, y'all. Just kidding. We'll take
Throw
whatever.
that our way. We will put it to good use. And yes, we are looking at David. What's up?
Hi, folks. So I think there's a little bit of nuance here that's been conveyed between Rebecca and Bridget. If we do not raise this money, we are going to have to cut some of these benefits, and like it will be okay. But like this doesn't mean something. And so we're hoping to raise a fair amount on this Giving Day. I think in April we'll meet again and then decide what we do and do not, right? Like fun, depending on how it goes. Maybe we'll have one last chance after this, but we try not to push really hard. I also think we need to raise it relatively soon if we want to keep all of the things we have, which is not necessarily a requirement either.
Yeah.
So don't panic about it. But if we want to keep all the extra benefits we have, for sure, this is our chance to fund the school as best we can.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you. And it does matter to note the timetable on this, because yeah, if we don't do this relatively soon, this is when Max is making the budget decisions for next year. So even if we rally over the summer and add to our pot, it's too late to bring back positions that have been cut. I'm going to take the question from Carla as well.
Hey there, Rebecca. Thanks so much. Of course, I know firsthand everything that you're going through right now. So really appreciate all the help and the work and ideas on trying to figure out how we can raise money. My question is in regards to the comment that was just made. Understanding that it is hard to do a year-over-year comparison, what is our shortfall to be able to support the positions that we are supporting this year?
That is a great question. Tim, do you have like a specific answer to that? Because it
was all in the email or in the presentation that Max gave, so it would be in the link. But it's not looking good. But Tim probably has all the actual numbers. But I would recommend everyone read the slides that Max did if you missed the school summit. It was really helpful.
So, Carla, this is what I'll say, right? The PTA last year wrote a check to fund 3 teaching positions for $193,000. So today we have, if I count all the money up in our bank account, we have $113,000. So the difference there is $80,000. That $113,000, there's some of that that's that's earmarked, so that won't roll over. So, but we'll call it roughly $80,000 behind. All that said, if you look at Max's summit slide, he broke out a scenario of teaching positions that could be funded. And if we look at different options there's things that we can do with the money that we've raised today. So for example, we could fund a kindergarten and first grade art teacher. That's not something that the PTA funded under this fiscal year. But it's a little bit less money than any of the individual positions that we funded this year. So it's kind of tough to say apples to apples, but what I can say is compared to last year, we're about $80,000 behind in terms of funding the teacher positions.
Thank you. And that's really helpful to understand that. Knowing that we've been in similar positions in year past, would we find it beneficial to be that transparent with our community so they are aware that with these upcoming fundraising events that the goal, or we can use a different word, that our budget shortfall is $80,000, and therefore if we do not raise that, decisions will need to be made.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. And Carla ran this show through these similar kinds of shortfalls. So yeah, those of us who've been around at DW for a while, we know not to take for granted all the resources that we have. So it's, again, that gentle line between really hard push and, not making people feel like they have to give more than they can give, but reach out, be creative. I really appreciate Bridget's creative thinking on think about businesses that connections that you have. There are so many ways to do fundraisers. I actually only learned about a Taco-licious fundraiser that we did last year that I swear I didn't even know about at the time, that brought in thousands of dollars. So if you have a connection to a thing like that, that adds up, getting a few grand here and there, and getting some company to, we'll let them hang some stupid billboard on our yard and we'll pay, get paid to do that. I don't know, but let's just be creative to think about it. So use our community, use your networks to see where we can help close some of that gap. Bridget, did you want to add anything?
I just appreciate that perspective, Carla, on, highlighting the shortfall to the community. I mean, it's dark, but I'm trying to, maybe after all these festivities, we could see where we are and then do one more push. It's just a lot of messaging right now. So I think it'd be good to maybe we do and figure out some other unique thing we could do to kind of close it up quickly.
Yeah, we can definitely connect offline. I'm happy to give insights into what worked really well in prior years. The challenge being that we are tied to a timeline for when budgetary decisions need to be made with the district. So that's part of the challenge, right? But definitely happy just to connect separately to go through some of those benefits and the reasons why just transparency did create a sense of urgency with the community in, I guess some can argue gentle enough or not gentle, but
we were pretty transparent last year, I think,
yeah,
in this the giving week thing.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, let's connect offline. That sounds good. Thank you so much, Carla.
Yeah, and seriously, thank you, Carla, for your expertise from the past in all of this. Okay, we're getting close to the end. We're at 7:28. We're about to wrap it up. We've been through the bulk of the important stuff, so this is just a preview into the future. Circus Night is our last big event of the year. It was awesome last year, and we already have great entertainment booked for this year. So mark your calendar for Friday, April 21st. And please, if you are someone who has any thoughts about food and where we can order from, or getting some drinks donated, or even if you know someone who can provide lighting on the yard, sound, any of that, those big items that make the event really great are crucial. But once we come back from spring break is when you will start to see threatening emails from me begging for volunteer help. So till then, we're going to focus on this other stuff. But if you have those connections, start thinking about it. And here we go, just the basic contact info with our website that will have all of everything we've talked about tonight, the notes, this Zoom recording, all of that will be there. Very valuable resource. I even put copies of emails I've sent out there. For follow-ups, if you want to share anything that wasn't shared tonight, you can email that to Sarah and she will add it to the notes. And thanks again for Monica tonight covering a little bit on that. And lastly, your homework. So the most important things, see if you can get some pledges for the Jumpathon. Definitely be aggressive with coworkers you don't like put your kid's face out there and just make it personal. And marking your calendar for Circus Night, April 21st. And the extra credit is come to the Jumpathon in person or come to Giving Day and make a Giving Day gift if you can. And that is where we close it on out at 7:29. Anyone who wants to hang on and ask a final question, I will be here for a couple more minutes. And thanks everyone for taking the time at the end of a very weirdly windy, rainy day to connect about our school. It means a lot, makes a big difference to all of us. So thanks and stay dry, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.